a radio show on TV about past decades? Yeah, that's not going to work.
Dueling decades.
All right, Mancrush. Well, you picked up a point, and we're heading into our final 1-point round. Where are we going next?
This is tough. We're right in the middle. Let's go television right here.
Ready.
All right, so let's go June 25th of 1990. So while I was looking at the summer of 1990, and we've talked about this ad nauseum about like the summer is just crap for television. It's just, especially with this game, it just is, you know.
Yeah.
But this is a best of the worst episode, so it kind of fits, you know. So let's talk about cable television. And at the time, cable TV was exploding. I have June 1990, and as a cheap comparison, it's almost like how we have it today, where anyone and everyone is trying to make their own streaming service, right?
Yes.
Speaking of which, Dueling Decades is now on Pod TV. So if you go to there's a Pod TV app, which is another streaming service, and that's on Roku, Fire Stick, and everything else. Figured get that little cheap plug in there, but it's the same thing. And back in 1990, lots of companies were trying to capitalize on cable TV by creating their own new channel. That being said, I ran across this article that listed all of the new channels that were being introduced. And just for 1990 alone, here's just an example of what was being launched. Okay. We had the American Trial Network, Asian Network, Career Channel Network, Career TV Network, Celtic Television, Chiller Channel, that one's still around, Cowboy TV Network, Digital Music Express, Digital Channel, Food Channel, that's still around, which is now Food Network, right? They changed it. Gaming Network, Global Channel, Global Village Network, How To Channel, which is YouTube now, In Court, International Channel, Maximum Entertainment Network, I think that might be still around, Monitor Channel, Music Image Channel, Pay-Per-View Network, obviously that's still around, Sci-Fi Channel still around, Talk Television, Talk TV Network. All right. Then all the way at the bottom of this list, we get the most amazing cable channel ever created. I liken this idea to it's almost like a bad car crash, because had I known this was a channel, there would have been no way that I could ignore watching this one. Matter of fact, fast forward 31 years and we're all very close to hitting the desired demographic of said channel, which is pretty damn depressing. Here's the launch of the Senior American Network. All right. And the Senior American Network, obviously it's targeted at folks older than 50. So I have like 7 years before this becomes like a fantastic idea. But what can we expect from the Senior American Network, you asked? For one, I mean, this is obvious. I think there would be a riot if this wasn't included. Satellite bingo they were going to hang their hat on that one. And then we also get the Senior Citizen Beauty Pageant. I mean, yeah, who would want to be the judge? Best spider veins. Am I right? Then they also had the Over 50 Matchmaker Show hosted by Marty Allen. I don't even know who that is. And possibly, they didn't even confirm this one. They just wrote in the article, possibly a talk show hosted by Debbie Reynolds, who's very interested in doing it. Then you also had Senior Citizen Sporting Events. Maybe they'll have like some spry senior sporting events like mud wrestling or something. Hopefully that was pitched. Yeah, shuffleboard for seniors. And then, of course, they're going to have reruns of everything that was already playing on Nick at Night at the time. So they really went out of the box in that one. So I'm looking at this thing and I was like, all right, did this last? Because it's obviously not around today. So went through our sponsor, newspapers.com, and I'm flipping year after year to see how well Senior American Network was doing. Well, in an article that I found from 1993, they were talking about just that, how well this onslaught of new channels did over the last 2+ years. And it goes on to say that no cable providers picked up many of these channels, and that included the Senior American Network.
Oh no.
So yeah, so I was very sad to find out that there would be no senior like bikini contests for us to watch or anything else that they had promised. So I give you the not so launch of the Senior American Network to cable television.
Wow. All right, Mike Ranger, what did you bring for the television round?
Well, Mark, on June 1st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, launched a revolutionary television network, the very first of its kind, a 24-hour news network called the Cable News Network, or CNN. Founded by Ted Turner and Reese Schofield, the network has spent 41 years giving the television audience honest, hard-nosed news. I found an article in the arts section of the Philadelphia Inquirer titled, "Cable News is a Nonstop Kaleidoscope." The article invites the TV addict to enjoy nonstop news and to come get their fill of sports, fashions, gossip, financial and gardening tips, and almost anything else that they could think of. Round the clock, nonstop, and mostly live, CNN offers constant updates of news, and fans of all news radio networks should enjoy seeing what they hear. So there you have it. The downfall of modern civilization shot itself into the airways via satellite at precisely 5 p.m. June 1st, 1980. Thanks, Ted.
Ooh, I thought that was CNN too.
All right, guys. So for my television selection, let's head to the pages of the Courier Post out of Camden, New Jersey, June 24th, 1970, for an article that reads, "With the return of midi skirts, wide-brimmed hats, and other similar fashions, it's only logical that television should create a series exploiting the period of time they came from, the 1930s. And such airs Happy Days." No, not the show you're thinking of. A weekly 1-hour show reprising music and comedy of the 1930s, not to mention the 1940s. It had its premiere on CBS TV Thursday night, replacing the Jim Nabors variety TV series for the summer. The premiere, seen in advance by this viewer, also attempts a mixture of camp and nostalgia, trying to attract younger viewers as well. The style, in fact, leans heavily on the comic techniques used in Laugh-In and Hee-Haw, quick humor, cutting away to music. Louis Nye is the host of Happy Days, but the real stars, without a doubt, are going to be the low-pressure satirists Bob and Ray, probably because of their radio-orientated sketches fit in really good with the theme and tone of the series. Then the article closes with, in short, despite several nice moments, there is a certain lack of direction, either from the host or the content. Nothing in the world exists as a vacuum, it says. If you're going to revive a period of history, it's a good idea to let people know why. So a radio show on TV about past decades? Yeah, that's not going to work. Also, quick reminder, you can now watch Dueling Decades on Pod TV because, it's your history. We just fight for it. So I present you with a show that lasted just one summer, only 10 episodes, and like the 6th episode got lost and didn't get aired until like 76. I don't know. So it's Happy Days on CBS, June 25th, 1970. Just not the Happy Days you're thinking of. All right, let's pass it over to Courtney Gains for his ruling on the television round.
Yeah, I'll have to go with 1930s Happy Days. That sounds like the worst. Picking, the senior one would have been an excellent segue for Queen Bees,
Absolutely.
Which we could still do if it's time. But
yeah, go for it.
Because the plot of Queen Bees is about this woman, Ellen Bernstein, who is going to this old folks' home just for a month while they redecorate her house, and her house burns to the ground. And so she has to actually live there. And what she finds is essentially that it's like high school for seniors. And so, in fact, the producer, writer found when his real grandmother went, that's what it was like. Is that apparently it's very cliquey. There's popular crowds and non-popular crowds. And just like if going to being a senior home wasn't bad enough, having to go back to high school, that sounds like a complete nightmare for me. That's a lot. I did not enjoy high school, and I would not want to go back as a senior. I wouldn't have tolerance. I'd be punching people out, I think. But I just have a cameo in it where but I got to do a scene with Ellen Bernstein, Anne Margaret, Jane Curtin, and Loretta Devine. Wow. I couldn't say no to that. And the first half of the scene, I'm just watching them talk in a coffee house, and then I jack their purse, and they catch me it's a funny little scene. I was surprised that, the clip made the trailer and all of that. So that was great. But for the first half of the day, I just really got to watch these, iconic actresses with all very different styles and methods of acting do their thing. And that was absolutely, to get paid to just sit there and watch them work all day was great. So it was a really good experience.
That is awesome. Is that out already?
Yes, it is. It's been out for I think it's been out for a little over a week now, or maybe this will be the second weekend would be this week. So it's doing pretty good. It's out in theaters and on VOD. And, I did it a few years ago. I was wondering when it was going to come out because it has this, great cast
COVID.
and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it was just, COVID just slowed everything down. And now it's out and about.
That's awesome. I want to check that out. I did see the trailer for it. And one of the things that I also heard about old folks' homes, they also spread venereal diseases more than like. That's what I heard, man. I'm not even making that up. I heard it's like swingers galore. Our producer's throwing his finger up. Do you have something to add to that, Joe? Is there an expose?
No, I've heard about this a lot. They actually have sex ed for their seniors because back when they were doing it, I guess those things didn't exist, like a little bit of sheepskin or something. Who knows? But they go buck wild in there.
Oh man, I've heard stories, man. I've heard stories about these communities, especially go back to Florida. I've heard some crazy communities in Florida.
The
always
village
Florida. Anything's crazy is always Florida. Watch Datelines. They always start in Florida, man.
Florida. It's the heat.
Yeah, you go down to Florida and you go down to like the villages. That's just one giant petri dish with the heat and everything. Oh, stay away.